On Sunday, we witnessed a Super Bowl rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles, with Tom Brady on the call, which I found fitting and enjoyed. Conflicts of interest be damned. So, now in this video, I'm not going to talk about the game so much. Didn't learn a lot about the two teams that we didn't already know. Great, the Eagles won. They're in kind of a play calling rut again. I think they'll dig their way out of it throughout the season. The Chiefs, too Mahomes reliant, kind of devoid of offensive talent without their top two receivers. No, in this video, I'm going to compare the two teams I've enjoyed the most watching in the past decade to the team I enjoyed the least in the decade previous. The Eagles and Chiefs, being the league's most successful franchises of late, are the most hated. Something that's been driving me nuts recently is seeing people nostalgic for the, quote, old days in which the best team in the league was tolerable to them. To those people I say, you must be 10 years old, because outside of Patriots fans, no one should miss that team. I mean, what was there to like? A miserable coach, a psychotic quarterback, two offensive weapons in their 20 years that were exciting to watch. Randy only lasted a few years before they got him out of there. Poor Gronk kept getting hit in the knees. No fun. Does anyone remember those championship parades? How thousands of New Englanders showed up who had taken a day off of work, and Bill Belichick's leading chants of "do your job" and no days off to that crowd. Tom Brady always talking about how his favorite title is the next title. Screw you guys, man. Like, be normal people for once. And now I'm watching this infect my team, but in the best way possible. It's becoming painfully clear to me that if you want to sustain success in the NFL, a league of parity, you have to become boring. Because excitement is nothing if not volatile. Don't ask me to go into how these teams are schematically similar to the Patriots of old. What the Patriots had was wholly irreplaceable, the greatest defensive mind of all time, and a quarterback who had literally seen everything ever. No team is trying to replicate what the Patriots drew up on the chalkboard, but as far as attitude and roster strategy, the Eagles and Chiefs show us the legacy of the greatest dynastic run of the Super Bowl era. Anyway, a few weeks ago, Dan Orlovsky said this on live TV.
Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are the modern day Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Just total alignment. Like, you know, I remember Belichick and Brady constantly saying stuff and being like, there's no way you actually think that or feel that way or you operate like that. And it feels the same way. Jalen's just robotic and maniacal and very focused, not out in the public like Tom was when he was playing. And Sirianni, there's no way that he doesn't know. But he says, and you're like, maybe he didn't really know. Like, the same way Coach Belichick would say stuff when we'd be like, there's no way that you think that way. It just feels like their alignment and the way that they're so hyper-focused.
And I felt like I was the only person who actually got where he was coming from. Dano wasn't saying that Hurts and Sirianni are the best coach-quarterback combo in the league. That would be insane in a league with Mahomes and Reed. Another Patriots parallel for the Chiefs, I suppose. With the Eagles, if you look at their roster, it is the complete opposite of the Patriots' starless approach, especially on offense. The offense is loaded with big names, but it runs in an incredibly unselfish fashion, with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, two of the best receivers in football, routinely blocking for Saquon Barkley more than running routes. It stems from what Nick Sirianni preaches.
I've been saying a lot today and throughout the whole year that you cannot be great without the greatness of others.
And this is where I see the Eagles resemble the Patriots the most. It's in their attitude. If I wasn't an Eagles fan, I would probably find Jalen Hurts not wearing his Super Bowl ring just as insufferable as Tom Brady saying his favorite title's the next one. Nick Sirianni pretending not to know about the banner dropping on opening night was a move straight out of the Belichick playbook. Because for a guy who was really smart with football, Bill loved to play dumb.
What do you think having a 37-year-old?
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
The most Patriots-coded thing I've seen from the Eagles lately, however, came last year in the middle of a championship run after reeling off 8 straight wins, including at the Rams and at the Ravens. The Eagles won a tight game at home against the Carolina Panthers, and after the game, A.J. Brown said the passing game needed to improve. And then things got kind of weird. Parts of the media ran with this as an indictment on Hurts, which is a whole other thing, but what interested me was how later in the week, Team leader Brandon Graham went on 94 WIP and insinuated that Hurts and Brown had some personal differences after being seemingly best friends since their college days. So the Eagles did what psychotically driven teams do. They went out, beat the Steelers behind Hurts' most efficient passing game of the regular season. A.J. Brown had a big game, and Hurts sat down in his presser with a Kangol and a blinding chain and said this.
So that's what y'all wanted to see, huh?
And considering what I just told you, that's a hilarious thing to say. The Eagles brought the whole controversy of that week on themselves and decided to blame the media and use it as motivation to play better. They manufactured an enemy. That might be beyond Patriots level psychosis. We're entering Michael Jordan territory now.
Fast forward to decades past the incident, and there's a rumor that this never happened. Bradford Smith never put his arm around Mike and said, "Nice game, Mike." A couple of writers went up to Michael and said, "Did this ever happen?" And Michael was, with a smile, just like, "No, I made it up."
The point is this. The Eagles have so many talented but odd players that weird stuff just pops up and is amplified, A, because they're good, and B, because they play in Philadelphia, a city that might care too much. They realized that the only way they could channel these controversies into wins that won't fracture the team is by not only cutting off outside noise, but by making up your own outside noise as motivation. Sounds kind of Deflategate adjacent, if you ask me. Now on to the Chiefs. Now, it hasn't come with less success, but what's happened to the Chiefs in the past couple years is a genuine tragedy for the viewer. I'm probably on record in some fashion in my late high school, early college days saying that Chiefs offense from 2018 to 2022 is the greatest offense in NFL history. And it was. I stand by it. I've never seen a team with a greater big play threat from anywhere on the field. They erased deficits like they weren't even there. The 2019 divisional round against the Texans remains one of the most fun games I've ever watched, as the Chiefs went down 24-0 in the first quarter and led by halftime. To me, Mahomes was the solution to the Patriots' hell we'd been living in for my entire life. Even though Brady's teams got the best of the Chiefs on both occasions in the playoffs, it was not only cool to be a playmaking, high-flying offense, it was finally a damn winner. The Chiefs were the standard, and they did it in style. What more could you want as a neutral fan? Then they traded Tyreek Hill, and I won't deny it was the right move, kind of a stroke of genius by Brett Veach. It got ahead of the cover 3 trend that was about to sweep the NFL because of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen's success throwing over the top. It loaded up their defense for what would become 2 immediate Super Bowl titles, but it deprived us of the greatest TV product in NFL history. I'm sure things will come back around, but the Chiefs followed the Patriots model. They let go of their superstar receiver and built their offense around guys who won't lose you the game, and guys who will. And they also had a superstar tight end who had a telepathic connection with the quarterback. But weirdly, the Chiefs kind of worked in reverse to the Pats. They went from offensive emphasis to a team that's defense would keep everything close, opening the door for the greatest player of a generation to win the game late. That reads a lot more like the early 2000s Patriots than anything else, but Patriots nonetheless. All this to say, the Eagles, despite being 2-0, and the Chiefs haven't started out 2025 particularly well by their high standards, but I caution you, the viewer, to think back to those Brady teams and how they would always lose a game in September, sometimes in spectacular fashion. Sometimes the Chiefs themselves, with Alex Smith and a young Kareem Hunt, would blow them out in primetime. Think about those games. Be careful doubting teams that have, of course, championship pedigree and talent, but also psychotic delusional drive to win and or disregard for what the public wants winning to look like. Like and subscribe. See you next week.